Hey, what's going on everyone? I hope you're all doing great. In this video, we're going to talk about what breaks a fast. So if you want to find out what is it that if you had while you were doing intermittent fasting or any other type of fasting, stick to the end of the video. What's going on everyone? Ankur here from 20kg Down, a channel on YouTube which talks about fitness for everyone and not just the athlete. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. So in this video, we're going to specifically talk about things that you're not supposed to have while you're fasting, otherwise your fast is going to break. And then we're going to talk about things that you can have, which are safe, and you don't break your fast even though you have it. And there are some gray areas where you can kind of cover certain things that might or might not break your fast. There are a lot of discussions going on that, so we'll discuss touch base a bit upon those things as well. Before we begin, let's give a disclaimer. This video talks about fasting, which is for health benefit. We're not talking about fasting for any other reason, which is like a religious reason, or maybe you want to get something, that's why you're fasting, kind of religious reason. So those have entirely different reasons for breaking fast. There are different rule books, different religion has different rule books for that. We're not covering those. We're covering only health beneficial fast and how that can be broken or not. Let's first jump into the things that we can have while having fast and that don't actually break our fast, and then we'll slowly move on to things that we can have and then the things that have gray area. Start off, here's the easy thing that you can have while you're fasting. You can have water, you can have carbonated water, and you can have sparkling water. Now when I say carbonated water, you should be very careful. I'm not talking about carbonated water or pressurized water which has sweetener in them like Coca-Cola or Sprite. I'm talking about pure soda type of thing, like any kind of bottled soda or carbonated water which is not sweetened. So that only breaking your fast. Here are the other things that cannot break your fast, and one of those is definitely black coffee, the other is green tea, and these are perhaps two of the most common friends of people who do fast because they can keep you fasted for a longer period of time. And then can you also have some NO2 producing stuff that's not going to break your fast, and also creatine and beta-alanine are not going to break your fast. Now let's move on to those things that you're not supposed to take while you're fasting, because they're going to surely take you out of the fast. First, talk about some of the obvious ones. So to start with, because most of the time if you're fasting you're trying to lose weight and put on muscle maybe, we'll touch upon whey protein and mass gainers. Mass gainers, of course not, still, I mean, I know pretty much everyone knows about it, but still, they got a lot of carbohydrate in them, maltodextrin, and there is a bunch of other stuff put in there which would spike your insulin, and it's a no-no for your fasting period. Now when it comes to whey protein, you might have a question that if we take raw whey protein, if we take concentrate, or if we take raw isolated whey protein, is it going to break our fast? Yes, because no matter which form of whey protein you take, it's going to spike your insulin, and the moment it does that, you're technically out of your fasting region. Now coming to the not so obvious part of this, where something that can break your fast is definitely electrolytes. So it might not be so obvious, but if you take glucon-D or anything that's having a lot of glucose or electrolyte in it, that's going to break your fast because the same reason. It's going to spike your insulin, it's going to do something metabolic, so that's going to break your fast. Now here's the big thing, BCAA. A lot of us do take BCAA during fasting, and that actually breaks our fast. And you might argue that okay, my BCAA is unflavored, it doesn't have any sweetener in it, does it still break the fast? Yes, because the leucine in your BCAA spikes insulin tremendously, and because it does so, you're technically out of your fast. Let's talk about some of those things where there's not much research done and there is doubt in terms of what could be and could not be, and these might take you out of fast, might not. So the biggest one in this field when we talk about is apple cider vinegar. Now here's the thing, apple cider vinegars do have calorie, a wee bit of that, so technically that puts you out of fasting. But the thing is, the benefit of apple cider vinegar, the insulin sensitivity increment that comes from apple cider vinegar, or the way it suppresses the release of insulin in the bloodstream, it far surpasses or outweighs its couple of or a wee bit of calorie presence in the whole thing. So here's the doubtful thing, and kind of a lot of battle goes on in this field between researchers and experts. Some say that apple cider vinegar during your fasting period would put you off the fasting, and that's basically true, but then the others would argue that it would definitely give you more benefits than those few calories. So here's one of those really controversial stuff. The other controversial stuff in this field would be the herbal teas. Now the problem with herbal teas is that they might come with different flavors like tulsi or ginger or some other herbs, but you don't really know what they put in there. Now, if they put some sort of artificial sweetener or some sort of flavor that triggers insulin secretion, we don't know that. And that's why it's one of those gray areas where we don't know if it actually puts you off your fasting regime. Now, I would always suggest that don't go with herbal teas, go with the normal green tea or black coffee to just keep you going during the fasting period. Comes another controversial competitor in this field, that is lemon. Now, a lot of researchers do say that lemon can put you off your fasting. A lot of them say no, because it has got some similar properties of apple cider vinegar and affects your metabolic pathways in the same way. So the argument would be the similar one. If there are a few calories, yes, they will put you off your fasting, but then the benefits far outweigh the calories that comes with it. The last one of our list, and I think it's the most controversial but the most demanded one. A lot of people have asked me, because I do regularly intermittent fasting. A lot of my colleagues have asked me, relatives have asked me, that if I take pre-workout, would it put me off my fasting region? And the answer to that is, it depends. See, there are different types of pre-workout. There's not a single formula that works as pre-workout. As long as you have things like caffeine, beta-alanine, and citrulline malate or agmatine sulfate, things that gives you more consciousness and then produces NO2, you're absolutely fine. But the moment they start putting sweeteners, they start putting electrolytes, or even a lot of pre-workouts have BCAA. And as I said before, if you have BCAA, you've got leucine in there, and that's going to spike your insulin. So if you have those things like sweetener, artificial or natural, or if you have electrolytes or BCAA, stuff like this in your pre-workout, it's going to definitely put you off your fasting regime. But if you don't have, you've got just the vanilla sort of pre-workout with some caffeine, some citrulline malate and beta-alanine thrown into it, absolutely fine. Go ahead, take it. It's not going to break your fast. So that was my few pens on the topic of fasting and what breaks your fast. I hope you liked this video. My video, please don't forget to like, comment and share it with your friends. And if you want to get more videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, have an awesome life, folks. Ciao.